that letter?
So, without necessarily authenticating the letter, but reference supply and delivery of 500 bags he got to Chimombe district on 14 to 15 June 2023. A reference is made to the above.
Sorry, witness, what is the date of that letter?
It's dated 6 June 2023.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And it's addressed to Operations Manager, Mr. Gift Matiza.
Yes.
And it reads, reference is made to the above. While the issue of tender contract is still being looked into, the ministry kindly requests the supply of 500 goat bags to Chimombe by the middle of next week for a function there. We look forward to the continued cooperation.
Okay. Thank you. That letter was then responded to by Black Deck Private Limited on the 8th of June. And what was Black Deck Private Limited saying?
So it was addressed to the Chief Director, Professor Jiri. Reference supply and delivery of 500 bags to Chimombe district on 14 to 15 June 2023. That's the reference.
Is date? Date?
So date is 8 June 2023.
Okay, thank you. Proceed.
And it was addressed to the Chief Director, Professor Ojiri. And it reads, first para, we acknowledge the receipt of your letter that was duly received on 7 June 2023 to the effect of the subject matter. The contents of the letter were duly acknowledged thereof, and we took note of the update you provided with reference to the contract for the supply and delivery of goods for the Presidential Input Password Scheme. Black Deck remains committed to fulfilling the whole contract, and to this effect, we have initiated the mobilization process so as to meet the supply of the requested batch of bags. Delays might, however, be encountered in the mobilization process due to red zones and associated restrictions in the movement of livestock. To enable us to effectively deliver on this request, would you urgently provide us with the following information? First bullet, the actual location of the holding center where the goods will be delivered to in Chimombe. Second bullet, the date we can start making deliveries to the holding center. Third bullet, availability of security and feed for the goods at the holding center. And then fourth bullet, the contact details for the officials that are responsible for the holding center. Time's provision of the requested information will go a long way in ensuring the effective delivery of the goods. Further to that, we look forward to the resolution and full implementation of the contract signed by Gift Matiza.
In what capacity was Gift Matiza signing?
I think that's Operations Manager.
Thank you. You confirm that this was after the letter from your ministry which purported to cancel the contract or this exchange?
Yeah, so without authenticating and confirming those letters, maybe I'm happy and privy to the information that some of the signatories there and some of the letters, the addressees actually, they are part of the witness file. So I think they would rather confirm those documents at this point. As you can see, these were addressed to the department and to the departments. So, and they are part of the witnesses.
I will further put it to you that Black Deck Private Limited has since supplied, for example, those requested goods and still stands ready to supply per demand any goods that your good ministry requires.
You mean the 5,000 bucks?
Yes, the ones that were being spoken of in these letters. The 500, yes.
It's 500.
Yes, 500, my lord.
Yes, without authenticating the letters, certainly they did supply it, and I'm aware that they did supply it, especially for the launch which happened in Chimombe.
This was only one example. I have also other examples of your ministry having written to them requesting the supply of other goods. I will not ask you to read it in full, but just to confirm that that is also another example.
Okay. Now to Mr. Moses Mpofu, Operations Manager by Mindurwa,
Wait.
one of the witnesses.
You said that is a letter to
Operations Director, Black Deck Livestock and Poultry Farming Private Limited. Attention.
Black Deck Livestock
and Poultry Farming Private Limited.
Private Limited.
It was from the Department of Livestock Production.
And you said who is the operations director?
It was addressed to the attention of Mr. Moses Mpofu, the operations director in this case.
Okay, proceed.
And signed indeed by one of the witnesses, Mr. Mindurwa. So again, I can't authenticate. I'm sure Mindurwa can authenticate. Thank you.
But you do confirm that on the face of it, this letter was requesting the supply of 2,760 goat doors and 138 goat packs.
To where?
Will be required for distribution on the national launch day thereafter in Chimombe.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible they were
What is the
supplied.
date of that letter, Mr.?
It's 29 August 2022, my lord.
29 August 2022.
Yes, my lord. Now, you had indicated that the government was required to pay 30% upfront to capacitate the contractor on condition that they provided a bank guarantee for the contract sum for the 30%.
Yes, according to clause 29 of the contract.
Just want you to have sight of this document. And can you confirm that that was a bank guarantee of the 30% contract sum by Metbank, which Black Deck had obtained then?
Yes, without authenticating this piece, which I have on my hand, I can confirm that we received a guarantee, a bank guarantee from Metbank.
Okay.
Maybe not necessarily this, but
just so that we know what you are holding there.
Yeah.
It is a guarantee issued by Metbank. Is it?
Metbank.
Metbank.
Yep.
To who? Yes, proceed.
So it's this document which I'm holding, advance payment short for guarantee. That's the subject. Beneficiary
Advance payment
shortfall guarantee.
Guarantee, yes.
Then beneficiary, Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development.
Yes.
Then it's dated 28 February 2022.
Yes.
And then expiry date 27 February 2023.
27 February 2023.
Yeah, it was valid for 1 year. The one we received was
Yes.
valid for 1 year.
Yes. At whose instance was the guarantee issued according to that?
It was at the instance of the contract.
I'm saying that we know Minister of Lands, the Met Bank is involved, and who else is mentioned in that guarantee?
On the paper which I'm holding, it's actually Black Tech is also mentioned.
Black Tech, which Black Tech?
It's private limited.
Black Tech Private Limited.
Yeah.
Yes, you can proceed, Council.
Yes, thank you very much, Doc. Can you confirm that there was also at another stage another guarantee that was issued by the bank First Capital in favor of Legdeck Private Limited for the 30% of the contract sum being 87 million?
Well, I can't confirm this.
Or because you are no longer at the ministry?
22 June 2022, I was still with the ministry, but I can't confirm. What I can confirm is receipt of a Met Bank guarantee. But you never know, since there is talk of faking documents. I'm sorry.
I didn't quite get you, but I'll let it pass.
Let him repeat his answer.
Oh, yes, you could repeat your answer.
Yeah, so I can confirm that we were in receipt of a Met Bank guarantee, which might not necessarily be that copy, but we are indeed receipt of a Met Bank guarantee. But First Capital, I cannot confirm.
I'll put it to you that your ministry received a guarantee payment from First Capital as well, a guarantee letter.
It might be possible. You may need to check with the other technical colleagues. But I cannot confirm as of now.
Right. Can you confirm for the record that even after the purported cancellation by the Ministry of Lands, the Ministry of Lands has to date not called upon the guarantees?
I might not, I'm not sure on that. That is to date. But up to the period November 2023, I know we were doing some processes to call for that guarantee. But to date, I'm not sure.
You have not put before this honorable court any evidence to substantiate that the ministry had called upon the guarantees. Is that correct?
It was not requested for, but the processes, the internal processes to initiate the processes to call for the guarantee were indeed initiated during my time.
By internal, you mean you had not communicated either to Black Tech Private Limited or to the guarantors?
Well, I would need to recollect my memory. We might have actually communicated with NetBank, if I remember correctly. But however, since we are many in terms of the number of witnesses from the same ministry, I'm sure you may also refer that to the other witnesses. But I'm sure there must have been a communication, either formally through a letter or informally through discussions. There could be, but I'm not quite sure now.
All right. In terms of the bidding document that Black Deck Private Limited submitted to your ministry, can you confirm that it was submitted by one Tichaona Chidem?
I can't confirm at this point. Maybe the state may assist on that regard to check on the records. Obviously, these things, in terms of submissions, they are submitted to the department. So I might not know the specific individuals who might have submitted.
It's Tishaona Chideme.
Tichaona Chidem. Can you confirm that it is not your evidence that Moses Mpofu, the first accused person, submitted the bidding document?
I might not specifically still remember the names involved on the submission and so on, but Moses Mpofu's name would appear. There's the addressee, in fact, in terms of all the communications with Black Deck, as evidenced by the papers which were presented before this esteemed court before.
I'm talking of the bidding document, the bid itself, Black Deck Private Limited's bid.
To say who handed it to the ministry?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yes. So I'm saying, is it your evidence that Moses Mpofu is the one who compiled and submitted the tender document, the bidding document?
Well, I can't know. Like I said, my office is not involved in receiving bids, but Moses Mpofu's name would appear on correspondences. And from where I sit and where I seated there, I would see the name Moses Mpofu in terms of the correspondences.
Okay, look, I hear you are talking of correspondences. Yeah. I've shown you a correspondent where Moses Mpofu was addressed to. Yeah. I'm not yet there. I am at the bidding stage, at the bid. To your knowledge, is Moses Mpofu the one who presented the bid to the ministry? Never mind the correspondences thereafter.
Okay. I don't know. The technical teams would know.
If you had submitted to this honorable court the bidding document itself for Black Deck Private Limited, it would have helped in proving if indeed it is Moses Mpofu who submitted the bid document. It would have indicated on the bidding document, is it not so?
Yes. May I kindly ask you to defer that question to the technical teams, especially the procurement department?
To your knowledge, you are aware that there is a declaration that is signed upon presenting a bid document by the duly representative of the company.
Yeah, it's possible. It would make sense administratively.
I would put it to you that not only does it make administrative sense, but the standard bidding document which you produced yourself as exhibit number 3 requires that a party signs the bidding document who submits the document on behalf of any company.
Makes sense?
And that person signs a declaration where he vows that in his conscience belief, he believes the information that he has put in that bidding tender to be true and accurate to the best of his knowledge. Correct?
Yes, administratively, text-wise, it makes sense in a declaration.
And the person who did that, I'll put it to you in respect of Black Deck Private Limited, is one Chaona Chidem.
So without authenticating that position, noted, duly noted. But you may defer to
Chaona Chidembo.
but that may be deferred to the specific people who received the bidding document.
If you could just bear with me, my lord. Right. There is a state witness who is going to come and testify in this honorable court, who is called Chennai Garise. And she's going to tell this honorable court that there were two tenders that in which Black Deck Private Limited participated in relation to this offense. Is that correct?
I can't prophesy what she's going to testify on, but as far as I still remember, 2021, I think they must have participated in one, I think. Maybe there could be two lots or whatever, depending on the breed, I think, but it's largely
Who is that with
that.
Chennai Garise, my lord. And the summary of Chennai Garise.
And you are picking which party?
If you could just bear with me, my lord. Right. It says that Chennai Garise Neta will state that she is with the Ministry of the Ministry as the Deputy Director Legal. She sits in the Evaluation Committee in line with Section 18 of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Act, Chapter 22.23. On the 3rd of September 2021, a tender was flighted by the Ministry for the Presidential Input Scheme for the supply and delivery of goods for the season 2021 to 2022. Black Deck Livestock and Poultry Farming was one of the four bidders which responded. On the 12th of October 2021, the witness was the chairperson of the Evaluation Committee in a team of 5. Black Deck.
So which part are you putting to the witness?
Okay. If you could just bear with me, my lord.
And the Malaysia. Felt like this with this one.
No, it is not this one, my lord. It is not this one, my lord.
So you are withdrawing that question, is it?
I'm withdrawing the question, my lord. Let me just confirm.
I see your witness, your client wants to talk to you.
Indeed, my lord, if you could just bear with me. My Lord, I'm indebted to my client. The same witness that I'd referred to is the same witness, my Lord, who states that second tender. Yeah, soon after, I think it's the fifth line on page number 8. Where she says a second tender.
On page 8 is a summary of the Mr. John Basera's evidence.
My Lord, it comes from page 7. It's written Chennai Garise need.
Wait a minute.
Before this court. These people with something else.
I want to open the electronic version of the summary.
There were two tenders. The other one is identical. It's not before the court. Oh. That is what
Is it page 8 or page 10, Mr.
Page 10, yes.
To my learned colleague, it appears on page 10, my Lord.
What about in your papers?
In my papers, it appears on page 8 of the indictment papers that I have.
What is the page at the bottom?
It's 8, my Lord. Unless if we have different indictment papers.
We probably do.
Yes, because it
Let me
appears
see,
on
let me-
page number 8 in mine.
Wait.
But it is.
Even in respect of the second accused person's indictment papers, my Lord, it appears on page number 8.
Wait a second.
7 to 8. The testimony of Chennai Garisenita appears on pages 7 to 8.
Wait a second.
Oh, I see. Yes, so they had to go to the charge. Yeah, the charge sheet. So what about now? Yeah, I think that was the out. And also, this is what happened. This was it is simple, but the number by stand outline, but you can take a patch sheet 1, 2, you can take a patch sheet, you can take page 3. This was. It's just a question of somebody.
The online document has got Chennai Garis's testimony summarized at page 10. Do you have well, naturally you should have the online documents.
Indeed, the online we do have.
Yes.
We were using the physical one.
So I think you better use the online document because we end up. But anyway, if it is about the evidence, it should be the same.
Indeed, my lord.
Yeah. For progress sake, whatever the page is, then somewhere
After
the 8 lines from the bottom. Is it?
yes, indeed.
That's where there's a second tender.
Yes.
Is that what you want to refer to?
Yes.
Yes, so you can read that.
Yes, my lord. It says a second tender for the delivery of Kalahari and Boa goats was advertised on the 4th of March 2022, and it was won by Black Deck Livestock and Poultry Farming.
Yes.
Yes. So, my question to you, witness, is which tender have you been relating to? Have you been relating to this second tender or the first tender?
So I've been relating to the tender which I know, which was flighted in September 2021. That's the one which we are referring to.
Okay, we need to record that. Proceed, Mr.
Yes. So, in one of the tenders, you are alleging that there was misrepresentation, and in the other, there was no misrepresentation.
Like I said, the one which I'm still very, very sure of is the one which was flighted in September and signed in October, if I remember correctly. So
Which
that's
year?
the one which...
Which year?
2021. So the 2022 one, I'm no longer sure.
Black Deck Private Limited will put it to you that in both tenders, it relied on the same papers that Teacher Wona Chidembo submitted and compiled. Would you dispute that?
Well, like I said, on the second tender, I'm no longer sure.
My lord, the second tender is not before the court. So I don't know how such comparison can be made.
Okay.
Because that matter is not before the court in relation to the second tender. So
The problem,
the court cannot be privy to it.
is it quite correct that its factual existence is not before us? Because you mentioned it in the summary of the state case. It was up to you to leave out what is irrelevant. So you put it there, I'm sure that's why he's referring to it. Unless if you want it expanded or something. But factually, that fact, as stated by the state, is before us.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, my lord.
But I'm sure the witness has said is privy to the
Yes.
2021 contract. So
Yeah.
asking you to make a comparison, that of course question cannot be allowed.
Indeed, my lord. I'll ask another question. I'm now confused, given what your legal officer is going to come and say in respect of that tender, to say in which tender was the misrepresentation done? Are you able to shed any light?
Okay, so the misrepresentation, I'll just answer on the misrepresentation part. The misrepresentation part was actually on the tender, which was flighted in September 2021, which was duly signed, I think, in October 2021. That's the one which we are referring to, which I'm referring to. So about Garissa, she would have to testify on that. So I would kindly request that all those questions to do with Garissa, they are deferred to her.
Fair enough. Up until the time that you left the ministry, no audit had been done in respect of that contract.
Which contract?
The contract that the witness was relating to, that they signed as exhibit number.
So you are saying there has been no audit?
Yes.
Of the
contract.
Audit of the contract, or what? Performance or what?
Oh, yes, of performance. Okay, let me clarify maybe my question. Let me put it more lucidly. Your ministry wrote purporting to cancel the contract. But after that letter, there's been no audit to say, we gave you 7.7 million. What has that 7.7 million done? What has been constructed? What vaccinations have been put? What dipping facilities have been put? All those things that we listed. There's been no audit of how that 7.7 million has been used.
Maybe you define it as audit, but indeed, when we dispatched the technical team, all that information was captured. And obviously, there were no gods, tune of 32,000. And as such, again, there were no holding pens to talk of. So you may call it audit or an assessment or inspection, but that was done at my instruction then.
Right. One of the witnesses who is also going to come and testify in this court, Obed Chiri, Dr. Obed Chiri, I believe now Professor Obed Chiri, is going to come and tell us that the farms which were said to be in the possession of the gods could not be located. That's part of what he's going to come and say.
Noted.
Yes. So, it is a difference to say they could not locate the farms. It's completely different from saying that the goats were not there.
Is it a question that he can answer, other than giving us his opinion?
Well, my lord, I'm relating to the verification exercise which was done.
Yeah, but what he said, he sent out a technical team which brought a report.
Yes.
Yes, but in terms of those specific words, do you think this witness can give a response other than giving us his opinion? You are saying, is it the same thing as saying? That would be his opinion.
Maybe if I rephrase,
yes,
Lord,
yes.
I'll try to rephrase the question. The report that you say you received from your ministry would differ with what this witness is going to come and tell us. This witness is going to come and tell us that they failed to locate the farms on which the goats were.
Okay, noted. Isu chataida kungoona imbudzi baba.
Sorry, you were speaking perfect English. I was actually envying you. So please stick to English. I think now I have to direct that you stick to English.
Indeed, my lord.
So just put that in English.
Yeah, so as the accounting officer, what I was interested to hear in was, where are the gods? Are they there? And the report was contrary. There were no gods. To say they were lost when they were looking for the holding pens, that's another issue. The gods were not there, to the tune of 32,000.
That verification program took 2 days in the entirety of Zimbabwe.
Noted, I can't remember how many days, but maybe I should just furnish you with further information that we do have some sub-national, sub-zonal structures. Obviously, they were triggered to do the assessments. In light of devolution, there was no way we could send people from head office to visit all the so-called holding pens.
Do you have sub-zonal?
So sub-national, and then the sub-regional and sub-zonal structures. Like, for example, at ward, we have a person, we had a person. In fact, we have a person there. At the district, province, we have some persons in light of decentralization.
Yes, proceed, Mr. Chetel.
Yes, my lord. Maybe before I just finish off my questions, I just want to confer with my client, my lord.
Maybe before I forget that, last time I only remembered after I'd left court. I think you should dewarn the witnesses that we have asked you to come tomorrow, because it's unlikely that we'll go through his cross-examination today by Mr. Jetero in time for counsel for the second accused person to complete cross-examination. And so tomorrow should be dedicated to cross-examination by second accused counsel. It's just my estimation. I don't know what you think.
Professor Madu, I think no question.
You're not likely to be long. Awesome.
Your grandfathers were together.
All right. Lastly, to date, your ministry has not lodged any complaint with any of the law enforcement agencies.
Noted.
In other words, the Ministry of Lands has not reported any fraud having been committed by Black Deck Private Limited or any fraud having been committed by any of the accused persons.
Noted.
Is it still his ministry?
Or maybe as at the time that you left the ministry.
Yes, that would have been a fair question.
So as at the time that I had left an instruction actually, which was still internal, for our legal to take the legal route and make some recoveries.
And so that we get you right, you have used the word noted several times. What does it mean? Well, in the context that you are using it, what exactly do you mean by noted?
So I've heard you, I've heard you, because he was saying to date,
okay.
as of now. So I can only
Okay.
nod and
Okay, but you are saying as at the time that you left?
yes.
Now,
That's-
now, if you were to answer the same questions referring to the time, up to the time that you left, what would be your response? That
Yes.
the ministry had not lodged any complaint with the law enforcement agents,
it's a yes. By then, yes.
and that, okay.
Yeah.
And that at the time that you left, you had not reported.
Yes.
Okay.
But
So
of
it's
course,
clear,
further
it's
to
clear
explain
now.
it-
It's clear, my
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have no further questions to you. Mr.
Okay. State re-examination
The
or
second,
cross-examination. You will be asked questions by counsel for the second accused.
under the circumstances, zwine zwa kaoma from
Witness, I want you to confirm first, I think what appears to be on record, that the advert calling for bids was on 3 September 2021, and then the bids were closing on 17 September 2021. You confirm that?
Yes, if I recall correctly, yes, I can confirm that. 2021, that is.
Now, between 3 September 2021 and 17 September 2021, when the bids closed, did you interact with the second accused person at all in relation to the Blackdale submission? Blackdale?
Me as a person?
Yes.
No.
No. Now, during that period, would you say that there are any documents in your ministry that reflect any participation of the second accused person in matters to do with the bids that were going to come from Blacktech? I'm referring to the period between 3 September 2021 and 17 September 2020.
So as far as I still recall, there were no paper related to the second accused. No paper at all, as far as I still recall. But I might be wrong.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Then my third question, do you have any information that the second accused person submitted the bid on behalf of Blacktech?
The second accused, I doubt very much if he is the one who submitted the bidding documents. No.
So your answer is that you do not know whether he submitted.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, the submissions are done at a lower office. So I can't know who has come in and so on. I can't know that. Obviously, the department would know.
Thank you. I want to go further with that question. In other words, it is not your evidence that the second accused person submitted a bid on behalf of Blacktech.
I'm not sure. It is not my evidence, for sure.
Correct. So your answer is it is not your evidence.
Yes.
Now, you might be familiar with the bid documents in respect of the 4 companies that submitted. You would be familiar from your evidence.
Yeah, the names of the companies, yes.
Would you know whether in the bid documents in respect of Blacktech, there is any information that
The Blacktech what?
Blacktech private...
Remember, there are 2 Blacktech entities.
Thank you, my lord. Let me rephrase my question. We now know that the winning bid The one that is why we are before the court. That is the bid I'm referring to.
That one.
Yes. Now, in respect of the documents relating to that bid, would you know whether there is anything in those documents which would list or point to the second accused?
Only the links with the Senem, and I know one of the signatories on the contract was something Senem related to the second accused.
The signatory is Tinashe.
Yes, the
That
witness.
Is it? Yeah. That is
Yeah.
on record.
Yeah, it is on record.
Tinashe Chimombe.
Yeah, that's the only relationship which I can point at this point. With regards to documentation, that is.
Yes, so I want to ask you again.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that set of documents that is the name Mike Chimombe?
Mike Chimombe, certainly no, if I remember correctly, if I recall correctly.
Thank you. Now, there is a period between the submission of a bid and then the final selection when you then announce the winner. That period, did you yourself interact with the second accused?
No.
Now go further and say you were head of the ministry. Would you be aware of any documentation relating to that period? I'm referring to the period between the submission of the bid and then the announcement of the winner. During that period, would you have any knowledge of any documentation that says that the second accused was interacting with your ministry?
No knowledge at this point. From a documentation perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, it would be correct, therefore, to say from 3 September 2021, when you flighted the advert, up to the time that you made the announcement that Black Deck had won the tender, there was no interaction between you and the second accused.
Yes.
Now, you then wrote a letter which announced the winner of this bid. Was this letter addressed to the second accused, to the best of your knowledge?
If I recall correctly, it was addressed to the first accused and to Black Deck. In fact, to Black Deck, represented by the first accused, if I recall correctly.
Now, the correct position is that it was addressed to Black Deck, the letter that announces that.
Yeah, sure. Represented by, you may remind me. You can't recall.
We would, on the letter itself, the letter that was written, there was, I'm not supposed to answer a question, but on the letter itself, it's just to Black Deck.
Noted.
Yes.
Noted.
But my question was somewhat different. I think you had answered it. Whether to your knowledge that letter was addressed to the second accused. I thought your answer was that no, it was not addressed to the second accused.
Yep.
Did the second accused sign the contract?
For quick reference, who is the second accused? Just refresh.
Mike Chimombe.
Okay, fine.
So
They
you
did.
may need to be familiar with that. We are only permitted to say that
Yeah.
first or second. So he's the second accused.
Okay.
Did he sign this contract? I see that you signed yourself, but was he part of the signatory?
Well, I didn't sign, and equally, I also doubt if the second accused signed.
Are you aware of the contract I'm referring to? The contract that was signed in November, 16 November.
Yes, it was signed for him.
Yeah.
He didn't sign. Somebody signed on his behalf.
Yeah, the department usually would sign on behalf of the PS.
So I stand guided by the honest but I need to be. Yes, I see that it is PP. But you are the one who's listed as Dr. J. Person.
Sure.
Anyway, my question is, did he sign the second accused?
Second accused did not sign.
Was he a witness to the signing of that contract?
The surname was a witness, but the second accused did not sign.
He did not witness. Now, you also have put on record the fact that there was an addendum which was signed on 25 April 2022. Did the second accused sign that addendum?
I would need maybe this to help me just to make the quick reference so that I can put it on record. But I don't remember the second accused sign.
Yes,
maybe
I
I
have,
said we could
the
have signed.
document I have now shows that you signed yourself, not this time. But
Check.
yes, there is a United Chimombe, someone signing on his behalf.
Yeah, it's.
So you would confirm that he did not sign the addendum?
Yeah, he did not sign.
You also confirm that
A contract.
he did not witness the signing of the addendum?
An addendum.
At least
Witness.
if we go by the document which is on record.
Witness as in what?
The document is 4 people.
There is spiritual witnessing and then
Yes,
Yeah, I say no.
the one witnessing yourself and then the other one witnessing Mr. Moses Mpofu.
he did not sign.
He did not sign.
Yes.
Then on 19 August 2022, you cancelled this contract. To the best of your knowledge, was this letter of cancellation sent to the second accused?
I doubt very much. I think it was sent to the operations manager for Black Deck. It was sent to Black Deck and represented by the operations manager or director.
Are you aware that the second accused did participate in this bidding process? A company that is associated with, known as Miltech, did participate in the bid, and in that, in the documents relating to that company, the second accused is listed as a director. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of Militech who bidded, but certainly not aware on the specifics with regards to the directorships and the shareholding. But that's information.
But you would not be able to deny that in those documents relating to Miltech, that is the only place where the second accused is listed as a director.
Yeah, well, I can only note that. Thank you for that information.
Now, there is some information that was in the bid, that one which related to the CR6 and various documents relating to the information that related to this company that you finally gave the award. You still confirm that even in those documents, the second accused is not listed?
Yes.
No, it will then, from all the answers you have given. No, that's the way I summarize your answer in respect of the second accused.
With regards to documents, yes. You are right.
You would say, if we go by your evidence so far, regarding documents, there is no connection whatsoever.
As far as I still recall, no signature from the second accused.
So there is no documentary connection.
Yes.
That means that you have some other connection outside documents. Is that what you are telling the court?
Okay, so certainly no other connections, but the second accused would accompany Black Deck in terms of the negotiations. And even at the launch of the program in Chipinge, the second accused was also present.
I think that is fine. We can get to that if we so wish. But the point is this. You have confirmed to this court, and I want you again to confirm that regarding the grant or the award of the contracts, all this, he was nowhere involved.
Yes, as far as I still recall, he was not involved. Second accused.
So I want just to go to the last portion because I would really be finishing with you. Perhaps that is an incentive for you to just give these short answers. You remember that when you gave evidence, you created some problems in the court with your use at that time of, I'm not sure whether it's Shona or Ndao or Karaka, the way you were speaking, and you used the word, although I don't have you say that, I won't translate it, but something like that. I should be excused because I need that to be clear. Now, I want you to tell the court if you still can say anything else. In what ways were you then saying that the second accused was involved? Because that's important for us.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, the second accused would accompany Black Deck and its representatives in terms of contract negotiations, in terms of even signing.
Yes, you speak slowly.
Okay.
Black Deck, which Black Deck? Well, you say Black Deck.
So I'm also confused on which one.
Okay, but
Black Deck,
an entity known as Black Deck.
Yeah, the Black Deck entity.
In terms of?
So he would accompany the representatives of Black Deck in terms of contract negotiations and even in the several meetings which they had with our technical teams.
Yes.
And also at the launch of the program in Chipinge, if I remember correctly, the second accused was also present. So if I'm to refer to the word which I used in the previous sessions, kufambisa ndo kufambisa nyaya dzacho kwaitika ikoko. That's what I was referring to. It was more spiritual and physical indeed, no signature at all. I don't know how it's going to be put to the spiritual, but that's how I can describe it.
Yeah, we'll record it as such and figure out what.
So I assume, witness, you know that the courts don't deal with spirituality. Now, from the answers you have given, that portion, I've noted that he accompanied Black Deck representatives in contract negotiations, then in several meetings that were held with your officials, and then thirdly that he attended the launch program in Chipinge. Am I correct in summarizing you that those are the three instances constituting what you had in mind when you spoke in your main evidence?
Yeah. So 3 instances, but meetings there were plenty. Certainly more than one, but it's 3 instances. Yes.
Yes, it's correct. I want to understand you further. So he was involved in contract negotiations.
Yeah.
Then in several meetings.
Yes.
And then lastly in the launch program.
The launch, as far as I still remember and recall.
So would we be correct that those are the instances where you would say then he is supposed to be tried for this offense from your evidence?
So are you seeking an opinion?
I'm just saying from your evidence, is that the basis upon which you are connecting with this offense?
Yeah, so obviously that's the
I think the question that is being asked by Mr. Madrogu to the witness is unfair, because that decision is a decision that can be made by the Prosecutor General on who has got the constitutional mandate on who to prosecute and the reason for such prosecution, not the witness. Witness is just to give factual.
I will drop the question.
I see that he was willing to drop that question.
Yes, I will drop the question. But I now want to proceed with this. Would you know when, we now know the time period, you remember it's indicated that you have 3 September, 17 September, then from 17 September to 16 November when you signed the contract. And then from that period, so I want you to periodize your interactions. Did he accompany these officials before 17 September?
Before 17 September, I can't remember.
Your answer initially was that there was no interaction.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that was not the period.
Yeah.
Was it between 17 September and the signing of the contract?
It was after the signing of the contract, and in fact from the date of the signing of the contract.
And in fact,
from the date of the signing of the contract and onwards. Before signing of contract, I cannot confirm, but certainly no interaction.
So your evidence is that your decision, because you are the ones who awarded the contract, like to the winning bidder, that was not at all influenced by any interactions that was between the second accused and those representatives. Is that correct?
Yes, no influence. It was an administrative process guided by the laws.
you are saying he, as the witness, is the one who awarded the contract.
He's the one who, I think the decision was made by him or officials associated with him. Is it correct that you are the one who would have made the decision finally with your team to award the contract to the winning bid?
So usually what happens is we receive bids, evaluated, they make my recommendations, and then the recommendations are sent to PRAS for SPOC review. Then SPOC or PRAS would send what we call a no objection, and then the department would then award. That's the reason why you see the PP for the PS was the departmental PP or departmental signature. That's how the process works.
No witness, who makes the decision on behalf of government?
So obviously it's the accounting officer who says this one approved.
So you approved the contract?
Yeah.
Correct. And my question, which you have answered, but you have to confirm it, is at the point at which you made that approval, you had no interactions whatsoever with the second accused?
Yeah, no interactions.
You had not been...
Neither with my teams, no interactions.
Yes, you had not been influenced by all these so-called meetings and so forth. That was not in your mind.
Yeah. Before awarding the contract, obviously there were no interactions. No influence at all. It was due process that influenced.
Now, I want you now to be at least more specific. I will take you one by one, just prepare for that, those three aspects. He was involved, it accompanied this in terms of contract negotiations. Which negotiations are these that you are referring to?
So when the contract is approved, there is no influence, it's influenced by the due process. But when now you make a decision to say we're engaging this one, when you call them, That's when they came, and he was involved, if I still recall correctly.
I want to record that properly. When the contract is approved,
So the contract is approved after following all the due process, including that 3-staged or 4-staged process which I've highlighted.
yes.
Certainly there is no external influence. The only external influence could be due process being followed, and as the accounting officer being satisfied that
Yes.
due process was followed, and again supported by a no objection from Pratt.
Or if the accounting officer being satisfied that due process was followed.
Yes, he especially now armed with no objection from Pratt.
Okay, speak slowly so that I record.
Okay.
Yes, proceed now, especially that
Yeah.
there was no...
So up to that point, there was no interaction whatsoever between myself with the second accused, or neither with my team. There was no interaction.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we need to hear from you. You didn't interact with him up to the time that you awarded him.
Yes.
Correct. Then did you attend these meetings you are referring to that then took place with your official?
Some, if I remember correctly, maybe 1 or 2, I think. But usually you would delegate that to the department to negotiate, to do whatever. Of course, they have my instructions.
But did you attend any one meeting with the second accused yourself?
Yeah, I think maybe 1. I would say maybe 1.
When was that?
I can't remember the dates.
Then this meeting in Chipinge, the launch program in Chipinge, what was the nature of that program?
So it was the official launch of the program, wherein we would receive the parcel, that is the goods from the supplier, and then handing over to the beneficiaries. That was the gist and the sense of the program that day.
So this was just a public, open meeting to everyone?
Pretty.
So was there anything special about the second accused being present in Chipinge for the launch program,
Yeah,
which would make him different from other members of the public that attended that launch?
Yeah, maybe that can be responded to by the second accused. Because you can't ask me why was he there, so.
No, I do ask
You can
you
respond.
only because you had said that that is part of your connecting him to the commission of
Yes, for sure. He was there, but why he was there, I cannot answer.
But he would be in the same position as anyone else who was there. My Lord, if I may just one.
Moses Apara. Apara.
Yes, Daddy Apara.
You are.
Now you have indicated that there was at least one meeting that we held with the second accused. And you didn't indicate when that was, am I correct?
Yeah, I can't remember when.
And that you cannot remember.
Yeah.
Now the second accused says and will say that he never met with you at any time. What is your reaction to that?
So that's his word against mine, but I'm saying and insisting that I think at some point we met. He was coming with colleagues from Lecter, and we were together with my team, if I recall correctly.
Fine, but you cannot remember when.
Yeah, sure.
So it can't be your word against his if you cannot remember. Do you have any minutes of that meeting?
Well, I can't recall whether we have meetings or not in that respect.
So you don't remember the date? You do not have minutes of that meeting? Is that correct?
I didn't say I don't have. may need to check. They might be there, but I can't recall whether we kept minutes.
So I want to go further. You cannot remember when you met.
Yeah.
You cannot remember whether you have minutes or not of that meeting.
Yeah,
The only thing you remember is that you met him.
yeah. And he can also remember, I'm sure.
I just want to put it to you that you are not telling the truth in respect of that. You are not telling the truth, and it's unfortunate. You will be lying in respect of whether you ever met. You are trying to create some slightest connection between the second accused and these trial proceedings. How can you suddenly not remember everything important about that meeting? I want to put it to you that you are not telling the truth. You are lying there.
Well, that's your word, that's your belief, and I noted. But I'm not lying, and I know what I'm talking about. Do you remember what happened in September 2021? You? Would you?
Yes, I will remember. But let's just wind up on this important witness.
I think it's only because you used the word lie. That's why he's irritated.
Yeah.
It's a very strong word. It's a very strong word.
So I hear you, my.
But anyway, you can proceed.
I can proceed. It's already on record.
What's on record?
That is a lie.
Well, I'm just pointing out that there are certain words that we are discouraged to use when we're in court, and that's the point I'm trying to draw to your attention politely. There will then be this unfortunate development. Yeah. But anyway, we are past it. You can proceed.
Yes, I thank you, my lord. The point I wanted to make the witness, I want the truth. And my client says that they never met with him. You are saying you met with him, so we have to be sure what happened in that regard. But let's just finish this thing. You now confirm that you cancelled this contract. And then after cancellation of the contract, were there any interactions with the second accused?
Yeah, I think so. So the second accused would actually attend some of the launches, because what happened was there was a grand national launch, and then there were some decentralized launches. And I'm sure on some of these launches, the second accused would attend.
So is it your evidence then that because the second accused would be found in the company of representatives of the winning bidder at some point long after the bid had been given, that meant that he had been the one who put across the bid or whatever is associated with the bid he would bid for? Is that your evidence?
Sorry, can you come again? The first part of the question. Would you?
I will need to rephrase it. Are you saying from what you said just last minute that because of these interactions you allege to have had with the second accused, then it means we backdate it, then the second accused will have been present right from day one?
Yeah, well, whatever the reasons why he was involved in those launches, either emotionally or whatever, by whatever connection, obviously you can't really say that then he was involved with Blackden. Certainly you can't. But there was that physical engagement and association, especially with Blackden.
Thank you. With your list, if I may ask my colleague just to one or two questions in case individual
My lord, I won't be long. Witness, you do confirm that you are the accounting officer for the ministry at the time that the agreement was signed.
Yes.
You are in fact one of the critical and star witnesses of this case.
I can't know about my ranking in terms of being a witness. I don't know whether I'm a star witness. I don't know. Maybe the state can assist.
Yes, but
I'm a witness.
You confirm that your evidence is very crucial.
I suspect so. especially considering the time we have taken with these sessions.
Okay.
It could be.
Now, what I need to know from you is, in your evidence in chief, you told the court that these goats would be sourced from different farms and different areas. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, it's true. Take it as a fact.
Was there anything that would have barred Black Deck Private Limited from having sought these goats from other third parties?
Certainly no. Obviously, they would have to source them from other breeders, other farmers, etc., with the breeds as prescribed in the contract.
So there was nothing amiss in Black Deck Private Limited sourcing goats from even those that had also submitted bids.
Yes, nothing amiss. That's their own arrangement, and it wouldn't be tantamount to a crime.
I see. Now let's just go back to how you say you connect the second accused. Did you know the second accused before this offense allegedly was committed?
Well, yeah, as a political figure, yes, just from the papers and so on.
Precisely. So you would not dispute it if the second accused says that he is a politician who holds office within the ruling party.
I can't know that layer of holding an office within the ruling party. I can't know, but I know he would visibly appear as a politician. Whether aspiring or holding an office, I can't say.
You do admit that when this program was being launched, the presidential goat scheme, either at national level, at provincial level, or at district level, it involved the public and politicians.
Yeah, certainly.
So there was therefore nothing amiss in the second accused attending those meetings, those lunches.
Repeat your answer in English.
Well,
you'll have to find an English for that.
Well, it really depends with the involvement, really. And like I say, some of the involvement was actually through negotiating with the ministry.
No. I'm speaking of the launches. When the launches were being conducted, different provinces of Zimbabwe, was there anything wrong with him being a politician of the ruling party, given that the president was attending?
If I was you, I go withdraw.
Yeah, well, just to respond directly to that, obviously there was nothing wrong.
And can that attendance on its own be said to be connecting him to the commissioning of this offense?
I fear, my lord, if I put in some shoulder, but can you come again your question? So that I respond?
My question is basic. By him merely attending the launches and different meetings, different areas in Zimbabwe, can you therefore conclude to say, or can you tell this court that that is how the second accused is connected to how this offense was committed?
You see, the problem with that question is that that's essentially question Mr. Maduku put. You've just put it in different words.
I hear you, my lord. If for the record,
I would leave that to argument.
I will withdraw the question.
Yes.
If the court may just be on. My lord, we have nothing further for this witness. Thank you.
None, my lord. Uchazona kana kapedza. Aiwa, hapana zvinotaurwa.
So who submitted the bid in terms of the entity? The name of the entity which submitted the bid?
So, if I remember correctly from the documents which I just perused from the state, I think the heading of the submission was Black Deck Poultry and Livestock.
Well, I thought you had the bundle. It should speak for itself. We are just not clear who submitted the bid, what is the entity submitting the bid?
Yeah.
Are you able to? Is it anything that you should be able to see? I'm sure you were holding the document throughout your testimony.
Yeah, sure.
We just want to know from the document itself who submitted the bid.
Yeah. So maybe the state can help me just so that I have some new side of it.
What is the name of the entity which submitted the bid?
There was a submission from. If you can give me that, this way, that one, I can quickly.
I'm sure every bid would be labeled in terms of who is submitting it. Because we see that is one of the requirements, that the name of the entity which is submitting the bid must appear.
Yeah.
So
you are right, my lord. So on the face of the submission, if I recall correctly, it was Black Deck, Poultry and Livestock.
Yes, that is what we want to know.
And
who appears on the face of the bid as the person submitting or the bidder?
So that was Black Deck, Poultry and Livestock Farming, if I recall correctly.
Black Days. You mean the name which appears on the contract?
Yes, the name which appears on the contract. Is that allowed? So that
This was my point, but I we requested this document. We requested for this document once and for the particulars you didn't give us.
Fortunately, my lord, on this one I can't really quickly find it or website of it. But if I recall correctly, must
maybe you can answer the question tomorrow. We just want that for the record.
Now to affect the the original bidding document itself with the accused person, with the Black Deck's fingerprints will be produced in its original form.
Or it will answer that question?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I suppose then you don't need to worry about that. He says the document will answer for itself.
We are guided. Thank you.
Any questions arising from my question?
Indeed, my Lord.
Yes. Proceed, Mr. Tetero.
Thank you very much, my Lord. The person who submitted the bidding document was a company, correct?
The prosecutor said that question will be answered by the document itself. Other than speculating, I gave him the opportunity to look at that. He couldn't. So that's why we then recorded that the document will answer that question. In terms of that, I was also anxious to know who is in the entity. I think the indications are that only corporate entities could submit this, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's why I was anxious to know. He, short of asking him to then look at the document itself and requiring him here his presence tomorrow, he cannot answer that question. He has already failed to answer it.
Well, if he has
Yes,
not answered the
the
question,
prosecutor has intervened, State Council has intervened and said the original of the document will be produced. So we can reserve the questions for whoever is going to produce that document.
Thank you very much, my Lord.
Mr. Maduku?
Yes, I wanted to put to the witness the fact that you cannot remember the name of the person who put this bid when all these documents were made available to you. Does that not show that all what has been saying cannot be relied upon?
Remembering the person who submitted?
You couldn't remember. The question from the court was which entity, which company actually submitted the bid. That was the question from the court. In other words, the answer we wanted to hear was Black Deck, something, and so you couldn't remember that, and you could not tell the court that correct answer. And my issue, which I'm putting across to you, is that not an indication that we cannot rely on what you have been telling the court?
So, like I'm mentally challenged? That's your question?
No, I'm not saying you are mentally challenged. I'm saying that I want to put it to you that in these circumstances, we cannot rely on anything that you have put across to court. I just want your reaction.
Yeah, so my response to that question was Black Deck poultry and livestock farming, but I was no longer sure on which Black Deck, because there were some submissions, Black Deck Private Limited, but under the cover of Black Deck poultry and livestock. That's what I said. But the state can also, confirm that.
Yes, I want to put it to you that you are being careful. You are not coming here to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. You are being careful so that your evidence somewhat meets the allegations by the state. That's the allegation. That is what I'm putting across to you. Why would you not remember who actually submitted the bid? Why are you not sure? And I'm saying the fact that you are not sure shows that you are being careful.
You think so?
That's what I'm putting across to you.
Okay. But to tell you honestly, I'm not being careful. I'm just responding. And these are things which happened about 4 years ago. So you don't remember. As a head of ministry, you do it with a lot of things, a lot of companies submitting and so on. So you can't really pin recall to say this submitted. But at least I gave you some guides to say in the documents there were Black Deck Private Limited submissions, but on the first there was Black Deck poultry and livestock. But the state can confirm that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we have now come to the end of your evidence. You are now free to go or sit in the gallery to follow the case. But I'm simply saying you are now excused. The court does not need subject to any other direction by the State Council, you are no longer required for this case.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you.
Guided.
So we can continue tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow.
We said at 12.
Yes.
Stand up, accused persons. Your trial will continue tomorrow at 12. 1200 hours. It is so adjourned. Any other business, Registrar?
No further business.
The court will rise.